tuning into TTV. I'm your host, Toya, and today is Wonderful Wednesday, and we are going over the Tao Te Ching. So bring a little bit of wisdom into our lives today. Now, before we get started, please like, subscribe, and share, because if you get anything out of this content, chances are someone else will as well. So share with those you know, love, and care about. Also, check out the links below for my book teas collection, as well as for Young Living. Young Living is an essential oil company. I use their products all the time, but check them out, listed below. They do not sponsor me, but I am a distributor for them, so check them out. Now, we're going to go over the Tao Te Ching. And what this is old wise proverbs. Okay, that's basically what it is. And what fascinates me about it is that it was written 4,500 years ago, but it's still very prevalent in today's world. Okay, the things that we go through today and self-help and all of that, we're still looking for the same knowledge. Even today, all these years later, we haven't learned it. So what I do is I go through it, I read it, and then I give my interpretation, and I encourage you to leave your interpretation in the comments down below. So let's get started. Oh, one more thing. It speaks to the great integrity. So although this isn't religious text, it does speak to the great integrity, which I take to be like the creator spirit. So whether you call it God, Yahweh, Jehovah, spirit, source, Allah, whatever name you give that creator spirit, that's what the great integrity is, in my opinion. So let's get started. Okay, so this is called the principles of transformation. So the great integrity expresses one. One manifests as two. Two transformed into three, and three generates all the myriad entities of the universe. Every entity always returns to yin after engaging yang. The fusion of these two opposites birth the vital energy that sustains the harmony of life. But for most people, this harmony is decimated by inheriting a condition of relative misery, scarcity, and victimization. Politicians cleverly pretend that they too originate from the toxic soils of this misery, even while designing the very laws that legitimate victimization. But watch out. Those who hoard over sufficiency will be diminished, and those who are diminished will become bountiful. These commonly known truths that common people teach each other are also my truths. As you sow, so shall you reap. Such is the heart of my teaching in a world forced to live heartlessly. That's a lot, y'all. But I don't know if you got anything out of it, just me reading the initial part, but I already got some stuff out of it. But let's get into it. So the great integrity expresses one. One manifests as two, and two is transformed into three, and all three generate the myriad entities of the universe. So to me, this is basically saying that we start out as one, that one becomes two when we accept the great integrity and become part of that great integrity to live this life that we live. It becomes two, and then we get put into the universe with all the other creations, and that's the three. Okay, so that's what I get out of that. Every entity always returns to yin after yang. You have to have balance. So if you have the good, then you're going to end up with the bad. If you have the happy, you're going to have the sad. Like either way it goes, you're going to balance things out. Things have to balance. So if you experience one thing, you're going to experience the other, which can be good. So if you're going through and you having that moment where you're in a bad space where all this stuff keeps happening, then it can give you that oomph you need to get through, to understand the good part is coming. Okay? So you can look at it as a positive. The fusion of these two opposites birth the vital energy that sustains the harmony in life. So it goes back to what I said. Everything has to balance. But for most people, this harmony is decimated by the inheriting a condition of relative misery, scarcity, and victimization. So that goes back to, I think I did a video on that before, generational fears. And so the fears and the worries and the woes of your parents become the woes of yourself, and the same woes that you teach your children. And so it keeps going on further and further down the line. So we teach the scarcity. We teach, this misery. We teach how we're the victim, especially in my culture. We're always the victim, so everything happens to us. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. We do. But I think we spend too much time focusing on that victimization, and it becomes scarcity, and it's so miserable being there that you got to get out of it at one point. Sometime in love, you have to get out of it. Politicians cleverly pretend that they too originate from this toxic soil, this misery, even while designing the very laws that legitimate victimization. So you have these politicians that smile in your face and say, "Oh, I've been there where you are. I know what it's like down there. I know what it's like." And then you go and you look, they ain't never been there a day in their life. And so the laws that they make protect people who are like them, who haven't been in that situation a day in their life, and continue with your own victimization. Like they continue to let it grow. They continue to support it because they're not doing anything to to put it down, to, diminish it. But watch out, because those who hoard over sufficiency will be diminished, and those who diminish will become bountiful. So those who hoard over sufficiency will be diminished, and those who are diminished will become bountiful. Okay, so honestly, I don't know. I don't get anything out of this. But over sufficiency, that's when you overdo things all the time. You constantly overdoing it, will be diminished. So, it does take something out of you. So if we look at it like that, you keep doing stuff over and over again, you're over sufficient. You're always trying to make everything perfect. It ends up just going to crap. I know that was what happens to me. You keep trying to make it perfect, 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 and then next thing you know, the whole thing is crap. So it diminishes. These commonly known truths are common people teach others, are also my truths. So these commonly known truths that common people teach each other are also my truths. I've gone through all of this. I've learned all of this. I've experienced all of this. I've gone through those teachings from my parents, who learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, and who I started to teach my children, but I learned better. And so I started to try to teach them better, with the scarcity and stuff. With the fusion of opposites, you're always going to have some balance. Everything has to balance. I've been saying that since I was a kid. Everything has to balance. So these are things, like everything that was talked about, you eventually get to the point where those are your truths, but you have to pull away from it, in my opinion. So as you sow, so shall you reap. Such is the heart of my teachings in a world forced to live heartlessly. So that's self-explanatory to me. We learn all of this and we go all through all of this in a world that seems heartless and cold, because you have these politicians that are preying upon us feeling like victims and continue to let us feel like victims and put us in situations to feel like victims. We see it on the TV, we see it in the news, everywhere around us. We see these energies, these opposites. We see all of that every single day. So that's my interpretation. I would love to know what yours is. So drop that comment down below. Let me know what you get out of this. And I will talk to you tomorrow. I love you. Have a wonderful day.